There is a very, very serious problem going on at the moment with regard to the rape gang scandal. Yesterday, Yvette Cooper called an emergency announcement in the Commons following Starmer's speech on it backfiring spectacularly. In today's video, we will take a look at some footage from the Commons as the Labour MPs are left squirming in their seat as the Shadow Secretary of State went in on them savagely over the mounting situation. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we have new Make Britain Great, again t-shirts available on our store. Go grab them now. They are available at britishstand.com or check the link in the description. So have a watch of this.
On sight of her statement. The whole country is shocked by the rape gang scandal. Over years or decades, thousands and maybe tens of thousands of vulnerable young girls were systematically raped by organised gangs of men, predominantly of Pakistani heritage. Instead of those victims being protected and the perpetrators prosecuted, those girls were systematically failed. Many cases were covered up because of absurd concerns about so-called community relations. Police often did not investigate. Local councils covered things up. The Crown Prosecution Service frequently failed victims. And those raising concerns were frequently accused of racism. Never again can people be silenced in that way. And I pay tribute to people who have raised these cases over the years, starting, I think, with former Labour MP Anne Cryer, nearly 2 decades ago, who first raised these problems and bravely persevered, despite accusations of racism and worse, including from her very own colleagues. And let me just say, in that vein, a word on the Prime Minister's comments this morning. It is not far right to stand up for victims of mass rape. And smearing people.
Order.
It's those concerns.
Shadow. People want to hear the statement.
Smearing people who raise those issues is exactly how this ended up getting covered up in the first place. Finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Home Secretary did not address the need for a full national public inquiry on this scandal. Now, while the last government did initiate the ICSA inquiry under Professor Jay, that was mainly directed at other child sexual abuse and exploitation issues, and it only covered 6 of the towns involved in the gang rape scandal. So it didn't cover everything. We do need to get to the truth. We now have evidence, new evidence, of further that is of interest to the public, including what Simon Danczuk, the former Labour MP for Rochdale, said about the way he was pressured into staying silent. We have evidence about local authorities covering this up. We have the 3rd report last year on Operation Span, commissioned by the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, exposing failings by the Crown Prosecution Service, which are extremely serious. This all needs to be looked into, so will the Home Secretary commission that national statutory public inquiry which can compel witnesses to attend, that can requisition evidence, and where it can take evidence under oath? And if the government will not order that statutory national public inquiry, we will table an amendment to the Children Wellbeing Bill later this week to put the matter to a vote. And I hope members across the House will vote for that full statutory public inquiry so we can get to the truth.
What are your thoughts on this interaction? Let me know in the comments. In some other news, voters must work 32 years longer than MPs to secure the same pension, analysis reveals. While an average worker earning £37,430 would need 52 years of work, MPs enjoy taxpayer-funded, inflation-proof pensions after just 20 years, worth £735,000 and paying £25,822 annually. Unlike most workers in defined contribution schemes tied to investment performance, MPs benefit from gold-plated defined benefit pensions. Experts warn this widens the gap between MPs and ordinary savers, with MPs shielded from the rising costs and taxes hitting private pensions. From 2027, defined contribution pensions will face inheritance taxes of up to 90%, but MPs' pensions are exempt. Even disgraced MPs retain their pensions, further fueling frustration. The public sector pensions bill is set to hit £36 billion this year, as taxpayers face the cost of a system out of reach for most. In other news, Labour faces backlash over the lack of electric car charging signs on UK roads, despite urging drivers to ditch petrol and diesel. Of the 73,699 charging points nationwide, just 25 on motorways have official signage, while petrol stations remain clearly marked. Critics call this a glaring failure, with outdated regulations blocking proper visibility for EV chargers. Operators like InstaVolt, poised to open the UK's largest rapid charging hub, face hurdles installing signs due to rules requiring petrol or diesel pumps at EV locations. Moto, Welcome Break, and others are stuck in red tape, leaving millions of potential EV adopters anxious about charger accessibility. Simon Smith of InstaVolt warned, "Visibility reduces anxiety for drivers considering the switch." Quentin Wilson, founder of Faircharge, slammed the situation as absurd, accusing the government of sending mixed messages. While the Department for Transport promises improvements by April, many say the delay undermines confidence in the UK's EV infrastructure drive. Lastly, Princess Kate is focusing on supporting Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis as they return to school after the holidays, despite her recent cancer battle, according to a royal expert. Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond shared that Kate likely approaches her 43rd birthday on January 9th with a renewed sense of optimism after a challenging year. In March, the princess revealed her cancer diagnosis, and by September, she announced she had completed preventative chemotherapy. Bond noted that Kate is throwing herself into family life, balancing hands-on parenting with royal duties, and celebrating that a truly rotten year is behind her. "Life with 3 children is never quiet," Bond said, adding that Kate is easing back into her royal responsibilities while continuing to regain strength. The expert expects to see the princess at more official engagements soon, with a focus on her early years initiatives and other projects close to her heart. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British political content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.